let us all do we can to build a better future. And this is just breaking today. Daniel, what is going on?
Hey guys, remember that guy, Andrew Cuomo, that we have for over a year said, hey, this guy's doing a lot of things that aren't good, that are shady, that are bad, and he's not a good governor. Hey, he's using slavery to do this. Hey, he's killing 15,000 people in nursing home for that. Why are we not noticing? Why are we noticing this bad guy? And again, he made the cardinal mistake in America, which is kill as many people as you want, but don't have sex with people that you're not married to. And Andrew Cuomo, as breaking as of a couple hours ago, has announced in perfect Cuomo-tacular fashion, I guess it's still Cuomo-sexual fashion, that he's resigning in 2 weeks. So let's talk about it. Governor Andrew Cuomo said during his address Tuesday that he sees, quote, the world through the eyes of my daughters. That's also very creepy, all things considered, and connected to everything that's been going on. And again, not taking any responsibility, not, hey, I see through my eyes that I did a lot of really terrible, disgusting things, both in policy and with women, but no, the world through the eyes of my daughters. You know, I would bet you Cuomo's the kind of guy that would threaten to beat up the boyfriend of any of his daughters. I don't know how old they are. I'm just assuming that if they are of age.
Hey, Lily, I need a new wireless plan for my business.
Yeah, I mean, he might. So just interesting for him to go with this route with everything that's happened. So Cuomo said that he was often with his 3 daughters while he watched some of the media coverage detailing the accusations against him, which is really weird if you think about it. First of all, shouldn't you be doing that with your wife? That seems like a kind of thing you do with your wife. And can you just imagine that, like him sitting on a couch surrounded by 3 very young women watching news about how he's touching women? It's a weird picture to paint.
Yeah, it's very disturbing.
And he said, I want them to know that I never intentionally disrespected a woman. That's, again, he's not taking responsibility. He's not saying, I screwed up, I made bad decisions, I'm taking responsibility by resigning. He's like, hey, I didn't intend to. When I flicked her nipple, I thought it was a nice thing. I was just like my mama taught me. I don't know. It's not even, he can't even resign properly. Your dad made mistakes and he apologized. What if you apologized? When have you ever apologized for this? You're not even taking accountability now. Your apology is, yeah, I know I flipped her nipple, but I never intended no disrespect. That's not apology. That's still obfuscation. Congratulations, you moron. So New York Attorney General Letitia James' office found in its investigation that Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women and violated state law. The Attorney General said that her office's investigation found 11 women who reported allegations against Cuomo to be credible. And literally the entire rest of this article is just them talking about how good his new woman replacement is and how it's the first woman governor. By the way, we've covered now every single person surrounding Cuomo who is a woman or man. They're doing bad stuff regardless. It's just what they're doing. We just talked about how the Time's Up lawyer who is leaving to become his full-time attorney, and Kit just informed me that the head of the Human Rights was the council.
Hold on. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's called the prominent U.S. LGBT advocacy group, Human Rights Campaign, has basically their president. Another president of another
has
resigned.
Group.
President Alphonse David. He resigned,
and he's resigned to help Cuomo.
No, he's basically resigning because he's lost all credibility, or this group has lost all credibility because, again, they were trying to discredit the accusers.
Right. So, again, this is like when we covered almost a year ago when we said, don't trust Me Too. They just help very rich people do this stuff. A lot of these groups, we had Common Cause with Wolfpack. Now we have HRC doing this. This is why nothing gets done with these organizations. This is why you should not, in my opinion, give any money to any of these organizations, and you should spread the word on that note. These groups are not here for you. They're not here for me. They're not here for people that are victims. They're here generally to have a moral presence and be a moral backer for very unscrupulous people. And so it's interesting that Cuomo, and again, also CNN, NBC, the Democratic Party, all just brought up Cuomo as this savior in the era of Trump. And, it's like, hey, we don't want a sexual assaulter who's not good to women, who uses bad language and passes bad policy. We want someone who sexually assaults women, who passes bad policy. But the same stuff. It's the same things. Cuomo is just like Trump. They're both from New York, powerful political dynasties that they grew up in. They're the same. And the fact that so many powerful people used Cuomo as the example of what it means to be a good Democrat says everything that we have been saying about both parties for the longest time. They're the same. They function the same. They operate the same. They're basically the same people, funded by the same people, that do the same things for the same people. And we pretend that they're different, and then all it takes is the Republicans are always usually very upfront about their stuff, except, of course, having sex with someone that's not your wife. That's still a no-no. But actually not as much, even. And the Democrats pretend to not do that until they're caught and figured out. So now they're so excited. Don't worry about it. Cuomo's gone. New woman, the lieutenant governor candidate that I'm sure he picked in the election. It's going to be awesome, I'm sure.
Here's what we need to look at. And if we can just acknowledge something here. I'm glad that these women have stepped forward. I'm glad that these women were able to get their voices heard. And I feel that this story is not over yet. But Cuomo is also responsible for other heinous crimes. His administration is responsible for using prison labor, slave labor, to make hand sanitizer. There's also been an ongoing report of whether Governor Andrew Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo. Again, Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration used prison labor, slave labor, to make hand sanitizers. Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration is also being looked into whether they use state resources to write that oh-so-fantastic book about leadership. Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration has yet to be held accountable for the deaths of 15,000 senior citizens, human beings, American citizens in the state of New York. Those 15,000 senior citizens have friends and family members that are wondering what happened. Will they get justice? Governor Cuomo's administration handled that in a reckless manner that caused their demise and their loved ones to be in pain. 15,000. Where's the New York State Assembly at? Where are the senators and House representatives to hold him accountable for that? That is a heinous crime, too. And he must be held accountable for it. Him and his entire administration, including his fantastic replacement, that New York lieutenant governor who's going to be replacing him. They all need to be held accountable. All of them need to be held to question, because those are 15,000 people. I also want to add a little bit more into the story that where Daniel talked about with the head of the Human Rights Campaign. So again, President Alphonse David, who served as Cuomo's counsel from 2015 to 2019, was mentioned 36 times in last week's bombshell report by the New York Attorney General. So, again, and the report also revealed that Cuomo and his inner circle had retaliated against an ex-employee, one of the heroic women who came forward, Lindsey Boland, who had come forward with the allegations against the governor. It listed David as among the individuals who saw the drafts of unpublished letter that would have painted her accusations of being politically motivated. While he initially declined to sign the letter, David reportedly later told a Cuomo aide he would if we need him to do so. He also apparently agreed to try and persuade other women who had previously worked for the governor to sign a supportive statement on his behalf. And this is one of the largest LGBTQ groups in the state of New York. I also want to add. I also added one more thing too, and this is kind of very interesting. And then I want to hand it right back to you, Daniel, for the final word, because there's someone else that wants to say something about Cuomo. Joe Biden, U.S. President Joe Biden basically said the governor did a hell of a job and calls his resignation so sad. He's done a hell of a job on everything from access to voting to infrastructure to the whole range of things. That's why it's so sad, Biden said. Biden said this. This is what The Democrat president. The guy who's better than Trump. It's so sad.
You guys know the difference between Cuomo and Biden?
What is it?
Biden lives in Delaware.
Ah, I see. There you go. There you go. So there you go, folks. So for all those who have been abused or bullied around by the Vote Blue, no matter who, or KHAV, or all these other Democratic lawmakers, know this. You don't owe the DNC a goddamn thing. They made Cuomo into this saint when he's not. These politicians, both Democrat and Republican, and even independents, they're not heroes. They're public servants. They work for us. They work for us. They shouldn't be put on these pillars to be worshipped. They should be criticized and slapped in the goddamn face every goddamn day, because if they're not doing their job right, then they got to go. That's how it is in a democracy. They are the servants. We, the people, are the masters. And I think it's long overdue that we start regaining that title of being master over these sick, dumb, weak, spineless, cowardly politicians. Cuomo's administration is still responsible for the deaths of 15,000 senior citizens. Where's the investigation and accountability for that? Where's the enragement for that?
Also, just to finalize... you know what's really funny to think about? His brother on CNN. Remember how
who advised him, too.
Right. He's the Fredo of the family. How terrible do you have to be at running the family business when your brother is resigning in disgrace and you're still not good enough?